What's up guys, it's Lorenzo from Quality Mobile Video. Today we're doing an installation on a BMW E90 M3. What we're doing is we're going to take out the factory speakers and install direct replacements so we won't be fabricating anything. These GRS speakers are meant as direct replacements for the factory speakers, meaning they plug directly in, no adapters are required for mounting, and the subwoofer is a direct replacement also, meaning the factory grille should fit right on top. These speakers are meant for the E90 and E92 series BMW vehicles. We chose the B204, a 4 ohm direct replacement for the factory sub. The B104 for the front speakers, rear door speakers, and rear deck speakers. These are 4-inch, 4 ohm speakers. We chose the B25-4 for our tweeters. We have a pair in the front. Our B25-4 is a titanium dome tweeter. Our install will consist of taking off the front and rear doors, replacing the rear deck speakers, and replacing the 2 underseat subwoofers. In this installation, we'll be using the stock amplifier. Our install will start with the front driver's door. This video is brought to you by our sponsor, GRS BMW replacement speakers. These easy to install speakers feature a woven fiberglass cone, rubber surround, and poly frame that is weather and UV resistant. Now you can purchase a truly plug-and-play speaker replacement for your late model BMW by clicking on the link below. Our front door has our 1-inch tweeter and our 4-inch mid. To begin removing the door panel, we start with the trim. We have 3 T20 Torx screws that we remove. To remove the window switch harness, you press in on the little tab and pull this back. Our factory vehicle harness had 2 wire, and that actually plugged in right here. And then it would loop the terminals through to go to the crossover for the tweeter. Our new mid will plug directly into here, and our tweeter will plug right here. Our front speaker includes the bracket, lines up directly with all the factory holes. So what we'll do is undo these 3 bolts and install the new mid-range. This vehicle is equipped with a factory crossover and has a 3-wire harness. GRS has given us all of our gaskets. They've given us a gasket for the screws. We have 4 that get applied on the inside. We have a driver gasket. And then we have a foam gasket to meet the door panel. Now we'll apply them. The kit includes a gasket, which we apply to the bottom. So our bracket goes in like this. We want to align the speaker to match up just like the factory one did. Since we're not going to be using the factory crossover, what we want to do is insulate the terminals and tape them down. So we use a little bit of Tesa tape to insulate the plastic terminal. You could remove the entire sail panel. In this upper corner, it gets a little difficult to put it back in, so we're just going to take it out. We'll reinstall our foam piece and put the trim back on. So to realign this, you just pull out a little bit on the bottom and then lock it into the gasket. Prior to putting the door back together, BMW has these little foam gaskets and sometimes they get stuck on the door. So what you want to do is make sure that you've peeled them off and put them back on all the door snaps. Then reinstall all of our wiring harnesses. Now reinstall all 3 of our screws and the trim panel. And now we'll do the passenger door. We'll do the exact same procedure, just opposite side. As with the driver's side, we have 3 Torx bolts that we'll take out. We do have one additional procedure, and that is the door handle. And our tweeter installation is exactly the same as the driver's side. Pull from this area, pull underneath, undo it from the gasket, pop out our foam piece, and unclip our tweeter. Reinstall our foam piece, and put the sail panel back in. And now just reconnect our door handle and all of our harnesses. it up. To install our subwoofers, we do actually have to take all 4 seat bolts out and lift the seat. Now this vehicle has Recaro racing seats, which is different than a stock vehicle. Luckily we have a stock E90, so we can show you the procedure. We won't actually take the seat out of a stock E90, but we'll show you kind of the steps on how to release the seat so that you can lift it up. In a stock E90, the way you'll go about removing the seat is you'll actually recline the seat forward and then move the seat forward, remove the 2 rear screws, move the seat back, remove the 2 front screws, and then tilt the seat back. To undo it, it's a T47 Torx bit, and you'll just undo these 2 rear bolts. So now once we remove the 2 rear bolts, we'll move the seat back. We do the same procedure on the front bolts using a T47 Torx bit. Once we remove the 2 bolts, we'll lift the seat up and have access to the subwoofer. Since we're not actually working on the blue car and we're working on this black M3, we're going to show you the process on this car despite having racing seats. Undo the front hex bolts. Now we'll move the seat forward and remove the rear bolts. Even though this car has race seats, a stock car you'll do the exact same thing. Now you'll just lift up the seat and you'll have access to the subwoofer. So because this vehicle does have race seats, we do have to take this rail guide out, and then we'll have access to the subwoofer screws. The key to this when you have stock seats is to bring the seat all the way forward and bring it to the most vertical position. That way when you lie it back, you have full access to everything. Now, for the sake of this video and because this vehicle does have racing seats, we actually took the seat out so you can see the exact procedure much easier. If you were to take the seat out in a stock car, you need to make absolutely sure that the ground of the vehicle is disconnected, because if you remove this harness, you'll have an airbag light that only the dealer can reset. There's the stock. Hey, we got some money. So you could undo the carpet, undo the sills, and take the whole enclosure out if you wanted to, but we're gonna leave it in and do it as though it's a straight change out. To disconnect the harness, we just press in and pull out. Now we just reinstall the grille.
tight.
And to do the driver's seat, we'll just repeat the process on this side. So to remove the rear deck speakers, all we do is pop out the grille. The rear deck in this vehicle has the mid and the tweeter. Since we fully intend on amplifying and DSPing this system later, we're actually not going to use rear tweeters. We're just setting it up for rear fill. To set up the rear speaker, it uses an entirely different bracket which is included. It'll be the metal bracket. You can see the mounting holes are much closer together. The rear speaker grills are really easy to take off, so we're going to prepare both speakers now. We've already applied the gasket to one. We're about to apply the gasket to the next one. We've already put in the foam washers that lock in the speaker. The factory speaker has the speaker connectors up towards the bottom, and we're going to line ours up exactly the same way. So since we won't be using the factory tweeter or putting in a new tweeter, we're going to put a little bit of Tessa tape around the connector, that way it doesn't vibrate. After we've removed the trim, there's 2 Torx screws that we need to remove, and then the door panel will come off. And again, because we're going to fully amplify this system later, and we're only using the rear speakers as rear fill, we're not going to utilize the tweeter in the door. You'll see this is a coaxial speaker, and all we're going to do is just put a mid in its place. And we'll prepare both speaker mounting blocks at the exact same time. And we're going to match up our speaker connectors exactly the way BMW does. That's it for stage 1 of this install. Make sure to stay tuned for stage 2, where we take a Sony DSP amplifier, amplify the whole audio system, and retune with the integrated 31 band EQ. Go to qualitymobilevideo.com for all of your car audio and video gear. Click that thumbs up if you like this video. If you hated it, click that dislike button. Join the conversation below, and thanks for watching.